Think back to when you were 17 and everyone from your parents to your high school guidance counselor told you that going to college was the only way to avoid ending up completely broke. Back then, it sounded like an incredibly simple and foolproof plan. All you had to do was sign your name on a dotted line, borrow a massive pile of money you had never actually seen in real life, and magically secure a high-paying job that would take care of you for the next 40 years. This is what economists call return on investment, or ROI, which is just a direct way of measuring whether the money you make from an investment is actually worth the amount of cash you had to spend to get it. For our parents and grandparents, the ROI of college was incredibly high because you could work a summer job at a local grocery store and make enough money to pay for your entire semester of tuition. Today, that beautiful promise has turned into an incredibly expensive gamble where the system is rigged and the house almost always wins. We are going to dive deep into the cold, hard numbers behind why higher education has transformed from a reliable ladder to the middle class into a luxury consumer good that might actually set you back financially. If you are trying to figure out how to survive in this weird financial world without drowning under a mountain of debt, understanding this major shift is the single most important place to start. Let us look at what happened to the actual price tag of a university degree over the last few decades. Since the late 1980s, the overall cost of going to college has increased by more than double the rate of normal inflation. Inflation is simply the natural way that normal things get more expensive over time, like how a loaf of bread or a simple carton of milk costs more now than it did when you were a kid. But college tuition did not just follow that slow and steady trend. Instead, it shot up like a rocket ship on its way to outer space. Today, the average cost for just one single year of tuition at a private university in the United States is over $50,000. If you do the math for a standard 4-year degree and you add in the cost of room and board, you are looking at a total bill that can easily cross $200,000. To put that gigantic number into perspective, that is the exact price of a comfortable starter home in many parts of the country. But instead of getting a physical piece of property that you can actually live in and eventually sell later down the road, you get a single piece of paper and a ceremony where you wear a funny-looking hat. The colleges realized that because students could easily get government-backed loans with no credit history, they could raise their prices every single year without losing a single customer. They used this massive influx of cash to build giant luxury dorms, lazy rivers, and state-of-the-art climbing walls just to compete with other schools for new students. You are no longer just paying for an education. You're paying for an elite 4-year resort experience that you will be desperately trying to pay off for the next 20 years of your adult life. So we know the cost has skyrocketed, but surely the final payoff in the job market makes all that financial pain worth it. Unfortunately, the actual rules of the modern job market have changed completely since our parents were looking for work. Because several generations of students were told they absolutely had to get a college degree to succeed, we now have an absolute oversupply of college graduates.
This has led to a frustrating phenomenon called credential inflation, which is when employers start demanding a 4-year college degree for jobs that never actually required one in the past. Think about a simple office assistant job, where your main tasks are answering phones, sorting files, and scheduling meetings. 30 years ago, you could get that exact job straight out of high school, with a friendly attitude and a basic willingness to learn on the job. Today, that exact same job requires a 4-year bachelor's degree just to get past the automated online resume scanner. Having a degree does not make you stand out from the crowd anymore. It is just the baseline fee you have to pay just to enter the game. Once you get inside the stadium, you realize the concessions still cost extra, and everyone else around you is holding the exact same entry ticket. When everyone in the room has a college degree, the degree itself completely loses its power to set you apart from other applicants. You are spending 5 times more money than your parents did to get the exact same entry-level job that they got with nothing but a high school education. To understand why this entire system keeps running despite the terrible math, we have to look at how we fund it. Most 17-year-old kids do not have $80,000 sitting in a bank account waiting to be spent, so they are directed to sign up for student loans, which are presented as a normal and safe way to pay for their future. But student loans are a very unique and dangerous kind of debt because they are almost impossible to get rid of. In the normal business world, if you start a restaurant and it fails, you can declare bankruptcy and move on. Bankruptcy is a legal process that allows you to wipe away your outstanding debts and start over with a clean slate when you truly cannot afford to pay them back. But student loans are treated completely differently under the law. Under current regulations, student debt is virtually impossible to discharge in bankruptcy court. It will follow you for the rest of your life, through job losses, health crises, recessions, and even into your retirement years. The government created this harsh system because they wanted to make sure banks would keep lending money to young people who had no credit history or collateral.
But by making these loans fully guaranteed and impossible to erase, they completely removed any risk for the lenders and the universities. If you graduate and can't find a job that pays enough to make your monthly payments, the university still keeps your tuition money, the bank still gets paid, and you are the only one left carrying the heavy burden. When we calculate the financial cost of going to college, we usually only look at the tuition bills and the interest rates on the loans. But there is another massive hidden cost that is often much larger, and economists refer to this as opportunity cost.
Opportunity cost is simply the value of the next best choice you had to give up when you made a specific decision. When you spend 4 years sitting in a college lecture hall, you are not just spending money on books and tuition fees. You are also giving up 4 full years of potential income that you could have earned by working a full-time job. Let us say you decided to skip college and work a simple job, earning $35,000 a year straight out of high school. Over those 4 years, that adds up to $140,000 in total wages that you chose not to earn. If you add that lost income to the $80,000 you spent on tuition, the true cost of your college degree is actually over $200,000. Plus, those 4 years of hands-on work experience would have given you real-world skills, a network of professional contacts, and a major head start on saving money. Instead of starting your career at age 22 with $0 in savings and a mountain of debt, you could have started with $50,000 in the bank and actual experience on your resume. When you frame the situation this way, the math of higher education starts to look like a terrible deal for the average person. This does not mean that education itself is bad, or that you should never step foot on a college campus. Certain professions like doctors, structural engineers, and lawyers absolutely require formal university training to protect the public. You certainly do not want a self-taught, YouTube-educated surgeon performing your appendectomy when you were sick. But for many other fields, the traditional 4-year degree is no longer the best or the most efficient path to a stable career. Trade schools, specialized certifications, and direct apprenticeships are becoming highly attractive alternatives for young people. They cost a fraction of the price of a university, take far less time to complete, and often lead directly to jobs that are in extremely high demand right now. The key is to treat college like a major business purchase rather than a romantic rite of passage. If you are going to spend $40,000 a year, you need to be absolutely certain that the job waiting for you on the other side will pay enough to cover that cost. We need to stop viewing college as a magical golden ticket and start viewing it as an expensive tool that only works if you have a clear plan. Remember that this video is for educational purposes only and is not formal financial advice, so make sure to do your own homework before making any major financial choices. Take care of your hard-earned money, stay curious about the world, and I will see you in the next video.